show you guys. If we were to say the top left is your model foot side, and that's a side shot of it. That's what a model foot, if you look at the top middle picture, that's what a model foot should look like. I could tell you 99% of the bullies don't have feet that look like this. If you notice, the one on the top right is called a hare foot, and you notice what we consider toes for us, which is actually phalanges for them, they're a little bit longer than the top left picture. If you look at the bottom left picture, you could tell right away that it's a flat foot. You notice that the cushioning is almost not even there or non-existent. If you notice, the angle of the pastern is getting worse as these faults are being shown to you. The splay foot, as you can see, the toes are completely opposite of the picture right above it. And the cat foot is referred to it as really tight feet. But really what it is, if you look at what you consider the toes, or the phalanges for that matter, if you look at the top left picture and you compare it to the bottom right picture, you're going to notice that toes are actually shorter. That's what people refer to as cat feet. And you're going to notice the dog really walks on his paws. The toes, instead of being open, they're going to be nice and tight. That's what people refer to as cat feet. Now, the other thing I want you guys to look at, 1 through 5, the main thing I want you to look at is the angulation of the pastern, how it deteriorates. Don't worry about looking at the foot. You can figure out what's going on with the foot after you realize that there's something going on with the angle. I always look at the angle first, because the angle is going to tell me what is going on. Now, what is the pastern? The pastern is pretty much what is connecting the leg to pretty much the paw on the dog. So it's essentially around the wrist area, except theirs is a little bit longer than ours. But that's what it is. And there's certain factors that are going to affect that directly. One of the main factors, especially in puppies, now you guys heard me say this 100 million times, our breed, their soft tissue grows very slow. However, the bone grows very fast. What ends up happening is the bone grows too fast for the soft tissue to keep up with. The soft tissue is what connects muscles to the bone, okay? As we know, like for example, tendons can connect bone to bone, like ligaments, for example. And therefore, if the ligaments, the cartilage, and the tendons are not strong enough to sustain the amount of bone that is growing, then your dog may end up with wacky feet like number 5 that you see here. That's nothing more than the ligaments and cartilage and everything else being stretched beyond its capacity. If you notice, the length of the pasterns are all the same. Only thing that's changing is the angle. And the way you get your dog to a number 5 or a number 4, and again, I'm talking about not genetically, is overfeeding them. If they're too heavy for their size, or say, for example, you're going to be breeding to a dog that has a melon for a head, got super broad shoulders, super broad chest. And once you breed to it and the pups are born, you start noticing there's certain pups that are just humongous. So I'm gonna let you guys answer this. Do you think it behooves you to overfeed that pup so he can feed your ego and you showing the world how big this puppy is at 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Or do you think it's better to keep him light so by the time he's 1.5, 18 months and his bones have sealed and everything is looking good and correct, now you can really sit there and boast if you wanted to? So I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and answer that. Let me go ahead and look at the comments here. Nutrition fam, yeah, always keep your pup light. Yep, going with the keto. Yeah, but there's also something else that affects your puppy directly. I have said this before. I know for a fact, if you are feeding too much protein to your puppy, what do I mean by too much protein? I mean more than, say, 15% protein. If you're seeing your puppies that are being fed more than 15% and they're giving you all these wackiness in their front feet. Puppy shows high rear, but when you look at his front paws, they're down on the ground. The front pasterns are down on the ground. Well, that's just too much weight. You got to lighten them up. And the way you lighten them up, and I've said this in the past, is you reduce the protein. Let's say you're feeding a cup of kibble. Let's say this is what you feed them. So what you do is you always fed up to here with kibble. So you bring it halfway and you fill this area up with either rice or potatoes or even sweet potato. And what ends up happening is the protein content goes down, caloric content stays, so the puppy doesn't dwindle down. And guess what? The bone is not growing as fast, and it gives a chance for that soft tissue to come in and actually help. Does it all end there? No. There's something else you got to add to that. It's called vitamin C. Vitamin C is very important for your dogs not to have east-west or soft tissues or those types of issues, because the vitamin C allows you to absorb as much of the food as possible. The problem you have with soft tissue is they get very little blood supply. So the amount of nutrients that they get is minimal compared to, say, a muscle. Muscle, you work it out, and within 10 days, you could see a substantial difference, whereas it doesn't work that way with cartilage or soft tissue, any type of soft tissue, ligaments or tendons or cartilage. The way around that, the way we get it to make it work is we have a combination of the amount of glucosamine, vitamin C, chondroitin, and everything else that goes with it. Why am I saying all this? Well, I've made a video on Fixed Feet showing you guys how I do it. I've had people writing to us telling me how their dogs are no longer east-west, how all of a sudden the high rear went away. No, the high rear didn't go away. We fixed the front pasterns, right? They were down here. Once you lifted them up, next thing you know, the dog balances itself out, and you go from this right here to this right there. How did that happen? My pup is correct. No east-west. Could it be a problem by not feeding her on an elevated bowl? Could it make her east-west? Yes, it can. You want to raise the bowl because it helps the dog stretch himself and kind of get better posture at the time that they're eating. Any females you think I'm putting in the ring, man, look, I'm kicking myself because I feel like Cadabra would have been an amazing female had she made it into the ring. I screwed up on that one, guys. Now she's being bred, so maybe when her breeding career is done. Kevin Robinson saying gay tail trait. Gay tail, first of all, it's a minor fault. Gay tail can be fixed if you're going to a non-gay tail. And it's going to be a majority type of situation, meaning out of 10 pups, you may get 7 that don't have a gay, and you have 3 that will. And you will also see it when they're pups. And I don't mean like early pups. I'm talking about like at 8 or 10 weeks. You could also get a better idea if there's a gay tail. Fatima is asking, what's a gay tail? And that's simple. It's when you see the tail curve like a scorpion tail behind the dog whenever it raises its tail. Jeremiah is saying glucosamine and calcium. Calcium works against you. Calcium works against you. If your dog's already east-west, if he's a young pup and he's overweight, calcium's going to work against you for the time that you're trying to correct the knuckling over or the lowered pasterns or anything like that. That's why I recommend NuJoint Plus, not the DS. So I'm going to show you guys something because I've had quite a few of you tell me like, which one is it? Is it the DS? Is it this one? Is it that one? So I'm going to show you guys. That way we don't have any confusion. By the way, if you guys are interested, the link is below in the description. It's called NuVet Plus. The one I give to my adults is this one right here, NuVet Plus Canine Wafer. If I have a dog, a puppy that is showing me some sort of joint issue, this one here is the one I go to. It's the one I just showed you guys, and it comes out to 50-50 for a 180 wafer bottle. However, if you get the auto ship, it comes out to $49.99. If you can see here, it says hip and joint support, natural ingredients, veterinarian recommended. I'm telling you guys, this stuff really works. It gives your dogs exactly what it is that you're looking for. If you have an adult dog, the one I'm recommending is the 90 wafer bottle. It comes out to $55.50, $47.15. Once you do the auto ship, you save $8.35. With this one, the beauty of it is you're only going to be giving half of a wafer to a dog that's 5 pounds or less, a full wafer to a dog that's 5 pounds or more, and 2 wafers if your dog weighs 100 pounds or more. So I wanted to show you guys that so you could comprehend